We're going to do something a little different this morning, something that you're not normally accustomed to. I want to basically do my patriotic duty today. Everybody knows that the political landscape right now is unlike anything the world has ever seen. It seems like an extremely slidey slope, to say the least. There's a lot of things that are being said. So I feel it incumbent upon myself to share what I'm seeing. I've had several people who've asked me what I thought about what's going on in this whole election process. And, there are people on both sides of the issue that are really concerned about who will be the next president. I mean, those who are voting for Hillary are concerned that Trump is going to be president, and those who are voting for Trump are concerned that Hillary is going to be president. Both sides of the table are really concerned about this issue. And I've had several people actually tell me that they were afraid of what's going to happen to this country during this entire thing that's going on. And so I thought I would share a couple of my thoughts about this whole debacle that you see happening on the landscape of America. I mean, have you in your life ever seen such a vicious political campaign? Have you ever seen anything like this? I mean, if you look at what's happening, it's unprecedented in the annals of American history. What is happening today? The insults, the lies, on both sides. But in the liberal arena, both politicians and the media, the liberal media, are in a frenzy. There's a frenzy right now to put forth what they believe is the right thing. And so you're hearing a lot of information from the liberal media right now that is very distorted. I would even say a lot of lies from the networks. I mean, the liberals were caught red-handed, hiring people to be agitators at the Trump campaign. They were caught on camera planning where you would stand. You would be near the cameras, and you would be disrupting these rallies, and then Trump gets blamed for it as though he's responsible for this, and it was all single-handedly manipulated by the liberals to support their own purpose. These people were being paid to attend these rallies and cause disruptions. And they were caught on camera, hidden cameras, actually planning these things out. I mean, I don't know about you, but that's low. So I want to explain to you today, because I was asked by some people to talk about this. Say, Rodney, what do you see in all this? What's going on? Well, I'm going to share with you why I believe the liberals are in a frenzy today, and why I personally believe that the next president of the United States will not be a career politician. I'm going to share with you what I see and what I believe. And let me say this to begin with, okay? That I believe that the next president will win by a landslide. A landslide so massive that no one will ever miss it. What I will show you today will not be about personalities. It will not be about he said this, she said this, oh, he's bad, she's bad. It's not about that. The media has already done that. They've done that ad nauseum. This is the first election where the American public knows more about the presidential candidate's bedroom and bathroom habits than their political policies. Never has there ever been anything like this. So, I mean, to me, it's obvious both of them have tremendous flaws. They both got problems. But when was there ever a president of the United States who was holy, righteous, and pure? There never has been one. So why is everybody so shocked and surprised? You're dealing with fallen men. You know, you're dealing with people who are not perfect. So anybody to sit behind a camera and point their finger at either one of them needs to remember that there are three fingers pointing back at you. It's not about personality. There's something far greater at stake than personalities. We're talking about the United States of America. So now I will share to you, with you today, why I perceive and understand the real reason why she cannot win this election. Now, before I show you, let me say that this is not a prophecy. I'm not saying to you that I heard the Lord speak to me. And the Lord said, Rodney, Trump is going to win. Okay? I am not saying that. There are a lot of people on YouTube. If you want to see something funny, you go on YouTube and just type in prophecies of Trump. All kinds of preachers out there who heard God speak to them that Trump is going to be the next president, and they're sure of it. And that kind of makes me shake a little, because if they're wrong, which I don't think they are, but it's not because God told them, it's because of what I'm going to show you today. But if they're wrong, Deuteronomy 18 makes it clear that a prophet that speaks in the name of the Lord and it doesn't come to pass, he's a false prophet. So I would not go there if I was any of those guys, but they've already gone there. They've made their stances. They've said, God spoke to me. Even the Maharaji, whoever he is, I mean, with his white beard, he said, yeah, I had a vision. Trump's going to be the next president. I mean, everybody's saying Trump's going to be the next president because of some supernatural event that happened in their life. I am not going that route. I have another reason that I want to share with you today that is not being presented by the media. And I'm going to explain something to you today. I had somebody tell me, I spoke to somebody last week, and they said, Rodney, please talk about something about what's going on, because I'm really afraid. And so I said, you know what, maybe I should say something, because I see something. And I never shared this with anybody. I'm going to share it with you today. But there is a generation called the baby boomer generation. This is a group of people who were born between 1946 and 1964. 76 million babies were born in the United States during that time, 1 billion worldwide. I want to share with you today the power that this generation has had over the years. And so we'll liken 76 million babies to a ball moving through a garden hose. And we'll watch at how they influenced everything that happened in their world throughout that time. By 1955, Gerber had sold 2 billion jars of baby food to these baby boomers. Now, I don't know if you ever tasted this stuff. They didn't sell this because it's really great. They sold it because 76 million babies needed baby food. By 1960, Buster Brown, Kinney, Mattel, Hasbro made billions selling toys and shoes to these baby boomers. In 1965, 1966, Ford sold 1.5 million Mustangs. Now that's not counting GTOs and Camaros and Corvettes and some of these things. Okay? Peace. That would have been me, okay? I was there. All right? 1974, Schwinn Bicycle Company sold over 1.5 million bicycles to these baby boomers. Now, as these baby movers moved through time, they no longer needed bicycles. In 1993, Schwinn filed for bankruptcy. Most people don't know that. You know why? Because these people stopped needing these. They started needing treadmills and exercise machines. And that's why you look across the landscape of the United States today, and gyms, exercise places are just popping up. They're sprouting up like weeds all over the... Why? The baby boomers are here. Now, from 1975 to 1980, the real estate boom, you heard about the real estate bubble, was created by these baby boomers. Well, today, we're in 2016. What's their concern now? The next president of the United States. That's their main concern. Trump or Hillary. Now here's the truth about what's happening in our country right now. Multiplied millions of baby boomers turned their backs on politics and even on voting for the past 20-25 years. They said, what's the use? It's a rigged system. The lock has been jimmied. There's nothing we can do about it. The America that exists now is not the America that I and 76 million other baby boomers grew up in and that we remember. As a young boy, when I went to school, we would get to our school, we would get in the classroom, and before anything ever happened, before anything started, all of a sudden somebody would come on the intercom, everybody in the school stood up, and we said, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I remember that I would stand and say those words, and my shoulders were back, and we were all facing the flag. And we said those words with purpose in our heart. And we were proud that we were part of the greatest country in the world. That's the America that I grew up in. I never spoke those words without feeling a tremendous amount of pride in my heart. And multiplied billions, millions of baby boomers said the same exact words every day that they went to school. I knew I lived in the greatest country in the world. I knew it. But as time went on, we saw our country disintegrate before our eyes. Our government began taxing our factories and our corporations with prohibitive tax rates and forced those companies to move their operations overseas and hire cheap labor, and they stole our jobs, and our economy declined, and our country became an unrecognizable quagmire of anger and strife and rage and poverty and racism. The government is so deep into our pockets now that most families have a hard time making ends meet. Our country has been in decline for a long time. Over a year ago, there was a voice that was heard that turned the heads of baby boomers everywhere. It was a voice that no one anticipated. It was a voice and a message that all of us had been thinking was impossible, an impossible feat to accomplish. We all dreamt it in our hearts. We all longed for it. But we knew that it wasn't within our grasp. Then one day, we heard someone say, "Make America great again." And 76 million baby boomers turned their heads and took note of that and remembered the good old days. Remembered what it was like when they were growing up. And then they realized and remembered that they had been betrayed by their country. They felt that they had been hung out to dry. And the good old days became a reality again. They remembered when America was great. Now, I don't want to take you down the corridor of nostalgia, because that would take too long. But I do want to make a point. I'm sure you remember this. Your classroom must have looked something like this, because mine did. The desks opened. We all forgot. We all didn't know what those holes were in the desks. We thought we stuck our pens in those. You remember wax lips, right? Those nasty things. I owned a water pistol. I was a real tyrant with one of those. You remember driving movies? The town where I grew up in, Madawaska, Maine, still has a drive-in theater. It's open all summer, all 3 weeks. Gets cold up there. Sure, you remember the greatest program on TV, Gomer Pyle and Andy Griffith. The good old days. There are hundreds of these that we could look at. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to show you green stamps and the Beatles and everything else that we grew up with. But most baby boomers are nostalgic about the world they grew up in and the country they grew up in and the greatness that they grew up in. And they would love to see our country back the way it was. When we heard these words, we were reinvigorated and revitalized, and we got behind that lost dream and we said, "Let's do this. Let's do this." Now we have two candidates vying for the next position of President of the United States of America. They've been holding rallies across the country. That's what I want to show you. One of them holds rallies in gymnasiums, high school gyms. As a matter of fact, just last week, when they reopened the investigation for the 33,000 emails, she spoke from the Roosevelt Gym in Des Moines, Iowa. 1 week before the election, she's meeting in a high school gym. Now, you'll notice this is, when I Googled Roosevelt Gym, this is one of the pictures that came up. There's about 50 people there. These are trophies up here. Those are not people. 1 week before the election, she's meeting in a gymnasium, and half the gym is full of people. Now, this is a town hall type kind of meeting. I counted the people in this room. I counted them. Okay? Well, there's 85 right here. And there's less than 80 here. And there's less than 80 here. So let's give her 80 times 3. Let's say there's 240 people attending her rally. Hillary's rallies, here she is in the gym standing on the foul line. Who knows how many people are in here? They're showing, I think they're showing the whole crowd right there. Another high school rally, another flop for Hillary. Ohio flop. This is where Joe Biden was speaking. 200 people showed up. Remember just last week she was on the news. She was in a church. She was in a church. Less than 100 people showed up in that church to hear Hillary. I want to show you what happens at a Trump rally when 76 million baby boomers have been awakened and they remember the good old days. When the good old boys remember the good old days. This is a Trump rally. 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 I'm going to show you more, but I want to tell you this. I have a friend in Florida. She has attended 2 Trump rallies. The last one she went to just a couple weeks ago. She got there at 7 o'clock in the morning for the rally at 8 o'clock that night. When she got there, there were 20,000 people in front of her. And 8 o'clock at night, she was turned away. They did not let her in because there was no more room. And they turned away 20,000 people. And that happened to her twice. Twice that happened. To her, just her. Ever since Trump has been having rallies across the United States, this is what his rallies look like. This is what his rallies look like, folks. 76 million baby boomers woke up. Make America Great Again woke up a sleeping giant. People who had given up on politics, people who had given up on voting, all of a sudden said, yes, I want to make America great again. This is the media's view of a Trump rally. This is what you see on CNN and MSNBC. This is what you see. This is the reality. This is what you see of a Hillary campaign. Oh, they try to make it look as packed as it is. This is the reality. The places are empty. In order for the other side to win, they're going to have to rig the election. They're going to have to rig the voting booths. It's the only way they can win, and I'll tell you why. They are outnumbered by so many millions that it's an easy landslide for those who vote for Trump.
Electoral votes.
Electoral votes. We got them. There are far more American baby boomers, by the way, than any other nationality that exists in the United States of America today. Let me explain something. In the 1930s, in the early 1900s, 1930, 1940, immigrants began to flock to this country from Ireland, from Italy, from other countries. These were hard-working people. They did not come here to sponge off the welfare system and the Medicare system. That's not what they came here to do. These people worked hard and they made a name for themselves, and the people who were born to those immigrants became 100% pure red-blooded American baby boomers, and they love this country. They're part of this. They also want to see the country they grew up in back the way it was. But more recently, there are entire populations of people that were not born here. They flooded our cities. I won't mention any names, but I will say this. They don't care about America. They care about our welfare system. They care about free medical and Medicare and free prescriptions. That's what they care about. And they will vote for those who have given them all those free benefits and those freebies. Now, I saw a poll on one of the news outlets the other night that focused exclusively upon the middle class. Well, let me tell you, this is the middle class. Okay? This is what the poll said. 60% for Trump, 30% for Hillary. That was on a network, not one that is for Trump in any way, shape, or form. That is a monumental landslide for people who want to see America great again. So here's what I will encourage everyone to do. If you're not registered to vote, you need to go register right now. The registrar, Google your registrar of voters office. Find out where it is and go do it. Join this. Don't think for 1 second your vote doesn't matter. Not this time. Not this time. They're not winning this time. Reagan was behind in the polls. Reagan was behind in the poll. Reagan won by a landslide. Those polls are not true. Those polls are all lies. Those polls were not, they didn't take a poll from here. God knows where they take those polls. I don't know. Nobody ever asked me a question. You know, all of a sudden they got these polls, you know, she's ahead, she's ahead, she's ahead, she's ahead. Everybody, all those meetings, oh, she's ahead, she's ahead. She's not ahead. Her rallies are empty. How could she be ahead? How in the world could she be ahead?
Because corporate America wants it.
I understand that. The baby boomers are bigger than corporate America. That's the point I'm making. To not vote is a vote for Hillary. I spoke to people in Texas. I spoke to people in Florida. And they told me they know people who've already voted. And this is what they say. When you get into the booth, you're going to have an option to press one button that says select all Republicans, or you're going to press a button that says select all Democrats. The people who went there and selected all Republicans, all the lights light up or whatever it does, and as they go over to press submit or click, it very subtly changes to all Democrats. Okay, so when you go vote, you don't click all Republicans. You check them off one at a time. And then you keep your eyes on them as you go and click, and before you hit submit, you make sure they're still lit up. Because they are rigging the polls. They're rigging those boxes, for goodness sakes. So you have to be very, very, very careful of what you're going to do. Because I really honestly believe that in the same way Reagan won, this is a victory for those who want America great again. Obviously, Trump cannot hold a rally in a high school gym like Hillary does. She cannot do that. The media is lying to the American public. They're filling their ears with all this nonsense like she's ahead. She's so far behind. They're scrambling. They're in a frenzy. They don't know what to do. They don't know where to turn. Seriously. They, like it was on the news the other on our channel, that they're setting up tables in the North End, trying to get people to register to vote. Register to vote. Make sure you vote Democrat. I mean, they're so scared. They're so afraid. It's unbelievable what's happening. If these rallies mean anything, and we don't get cheated by bogus, rigged up voting booths, I guarantee you this: the next president of the United States will not be a career politician. And I really believe this country needs to get politicians out of the White House and out of Washington and get people in there who know how to run businesses. Because this country needs to get back to work again like it used to. John. So I urge you to go and vote. And let's make America great again. Okay?